Okay, so for my diversity field experience project, I chose to do mental illnesses. So who I interviewed for this project, she is a 20-year-old female who is a sophomore in college. She attends Minnesota State University Mankato, and she's actually a nursing major. And she aspires to be a nurse anesthetist when she graduates. The main thing that she struggles with, as far as mental illnesses, is anxiety. So for this project, I just kind of asked her a series of questions, and then she gave me her best answers. So question 1 is, how would you describe your school experience growing up? Her answer was that she didn't really know what was wrong, but she definitely could have used help. She had a lot of times where she was freaking out about tests, and she just kind of felt trapped. And she actually thought it was because of her parents, and she did not know that she had anxiety. Question 2, how would you describe your school experience now in college? She said it's very tough. She's dealing with it all on her own because she doesn't have her parents there or anything. She told her parents that she's just kind of starting to come to acceptance of having anxiety. She feels that anxiety is underrated in society today, which makes her too scared to go to the disability office, but she also knows that she needs help because she understands that it's too extreme to deal with it on her own. Question 3, are there any roadblocks or frustrations during your school experience? She said, yes, there are. There's a lot of pressures this semester. It's tougher in college because you're on the road to your goal, which makes it scarier because you really just feel like you are unable to mess up if you want to achieve your goal. She always thinks it's worse than it actually is, which may be due to the fact that she doesn't really have a very good self-esteem and confidence. Question 4, is there anything you wish your teachers and professors would do differently? She says that she wishes someone would have come to her when she was younger, but she understands that anxiety is hard because it's not something that you can physically see, so people don't always know when someone has it. What personal strategies have you used to overcome your anxiety and depression? She has really been trying to rely on faith lately, just kind of becoming stronger in her faith. And she feels like that's helping, but she still also has a feeling that she doesn't know what she needs to do to help it. The HESI is a really big nursing test that you need to take in order to get into the nursing program, and she had to take that test this last semester, which is why she said, one of the reasons why that she said this last semester was really tough. Because it's a huge deal for her, she said she actually felt like she was going to die. During the test, she was praying and clutching onto her rosary, and she didn't really know what to do to help her anxiety during the test. So she's still seeking that one thing that will help, and she doesn't really even know where to start. Question 6, what are 3 things that you wish people knew about you? So she said she really wishes people knew what triggers her anxiety. She also wishes that people knew that she takes her time doing things, and she really does not like to be rushed. She also said she wants people to know that they should watch what they say around her because there are certain demeaning words that her dad used to say to her as a kid, like stupid. She also said someone telling her that she's incapable of doing something really triggers her anxiety. It kind of leads back to her childhood and her mom and dad yelling at her because that happened quite frequently in her childhood, unfortunately. Question 7, how could your school experience have been made better for you? She said that it could have been made better if anxiety wasn't as underrated as it is now, because she thinks that if people understood it more, it would take away the fear of being judged for having it. And she understands that you can't screen every child for anxiety, but she still feels like she should have gotten the help that she needed, and she feels like that would have benefited her if she did. So, what made learning in school difficult for you? She says that standardized tests were really huge, and it just kind of felt like when she was taking those, her anxiety was really taking on its role because she felt a lot of pressure, and it was timed, and like she said earlier, she does not like to be rushed when she's doing things, so time tests are hard, and she doesn't like not having enough time. It gives her anxiety, and it makes it really hard for her mental health. Question 9, where would you like to be personally and professionally 5 years from now? So professionally, she said by 5 years she will have been an RN for 1 year, and then she has to work in the intensive care unit for 2 years, and then she will hopefully be a CRNA nurse anesthetist. Personally, she said she would like to be married and maybe start to think about having kids, but not really sure about that yet. She said she would like to live in an apartment because she thinks that a house would just be too much responsibility, and she would maybe have a dog. So question 10, do you think that your anxiety will make it harder to get to where you want to be personally and professionally in 5 years? And she said, I definitely think so. She said in order to get to where she wants to be, there are a lot more standardized tests on her way, which obviously, like she said, those are kind of triggers for her. She will also have to work in the intensive care unit, which is very intense, and that's going to be hard with her anxiety. And then she said she just kind of always has to deal with the doubts that she has. She's constantly asking, what if I can't do it, because of all the pressure and stress. Last question, are there certain things that trigger your anxiety? So we kind of talked about this throughout the slides, but we'll just go over it again. She really doesn't like being in a time crunch. She doesn't like to be rushed. It gives her anxiety. And actually, I thought this one was kind of interesting, but she said when people tell her that she has anxiety, actually gives her anxiety. And then when something is out of the norm, she's very habitual, so if something's not the way it's supposed to be, if it's not in the right order, she does get kind of anxious about it. And when someone tells her she can't do it, it's very hard for her to fight the fire because they make her feel like she's incapable of doing something. So in conclusion, from this woman's interview, I learned that there's a lot more to anxiety than I thought. She feels strongly that her anxiety would be better now if she had gotten help at a younger age. So from this interview, I realized that having anxiety in school can be a huge deal. So as a teacher, I just want to watch out for that and be aware of that in my students.